guys, Daryl with Cyclops here. We are going to do an install on our 901 Norden kit. We are figuring that you know how to get your body panels off. If not, consult your owner's manuals, look at some other YouTube videos, but we'll just start after the side panels are off and you're ready to get moving on the actual Aurora install kit. This same basic wiring harness is going to work on all the other KTM's adventure bikes anyways, 790, 890, 1090, 1190, 1290. So we'll go ahead and just get into it. We're going to do this in real time. I haven't walked through this before, so please bear with me. First thing we're going to do is remove the headlight. Don't forget about this adjuster right here. You'll need to get in to remove that. All right, now we're going to remove the auxiliary lights and the bracket. There's a little hole down here in the bottom. Just go ahead and unscrew the bracket all the way out. Pull back here on the side. Pull that guy out. Another one here on the inside. Plug it from the factory connections, which will not be reused. Go to the other side and do the exact same thing. All right, now that we've got the stock auxiliary lights out, we want to remove these little adjusting turnbuckles, for lack of a better word. It's just where the adjustment screw goes through. We're going to take these out of here and place them into the new Cyclops mount. So it's relatively easy. Be careful here. You don't want to break one of these. There is quite a bit of flex here. So bring a screwdriver, a small tool down, insert in and just pry one side up. And you'll be able to pop that guy right out of there. Go ahead and bring it right over to your Cyclops mount and place it right back in there the same way you pulled it out. Just kind of drop it in and get it down into that position. You want it to be able to move back and forth, locked into that cavity. Our part is a little bit stiffer than what the factory piece is. Okay, that part's done. All right, now we're going to start off with our lights. They should already be mounted for you. There's a left and a right marked on the top of the bracket. So left will go on the left-hand side of the bike, right on the right-hand side of the bike. Let's go ahead and undo this, and we'll go ahead and go and install the bracket with the Cyclops light. Want to run your wires to the inside of the notch and just install it just like you took off the other pieces. I'll go ahead and get my adjuster started first here, since run that about halfway in or so to start. And make sure you get the light up into the bracket here. You'll see the brass insert through the hole. Install the outer bolt first. Inner bolt. All right, now I want to check the light for alignment in the front. You notice, like right now we're sitting a little bit off to the right maybe. We can adjust that with the slide on the back of the bracket. We can also adjust the up and down with the light bracket itself. Looks like I need to move to the inside a little bit. 10mm wrench or socket. I'll just push that thing over, center it out, retighten it up. Sometimes you might have to stick a screwdriver and something in here to hold the bracket to get it to not twist on you while you're tightening it up. Won't need to get it too tight. That looks pretty good. Don't drop your sockets. All right, so now I've got the light installed. Looks like I could come down on my aiming a little bit. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the side mounting bolts to the lights to the metal bracket. Now you might, I probably should have done that ahead of time. Now that I like where that is sitting, I'm going to go ahead and pop these two upper screws back out, pull it back up, and tighten up that light. Just as before you actually install the lights, go ahead and tighten up these two side screws. Set your light at about a 10-degree angle from the back of the mount, and go ahead and tighten those up. That'll save you a little bit of time with having to take the lights, the brackets on and off. So go ahead and set that at about a 10-degree angle like so. Tighten these two bolts up on each side, and then go ahead and install your whole assembly into the headlight or into the brackets. Get these nice and snug. You will have the ability to slightly adjust the light even though you've got these tightened up. All right, we're going to do a quick overview of the of the IQ375 controller that we're using on this Norden and the KTM kits to work with the Cyclops Aurora lights and DRL. That's going to give us a DRL mode,
a auxiliary light mode. It's also going to allow the DRLs to run as blinkers while it drops off the main auxiliary lights when you do hit the blinker. There's also a conspicuancy mode that we'll talk about later. Anyway, let's look at the harness. It looks like a lot of stuff, but it's actually very simple. So here what we've got is an ACC2 and an ACC1 connection. What we've done is provide the leads so that you're not losing your stock inputs to the bike. So you've still got a place to plug your GPS, your heated grips, that type of thing in. So this is going to go into this line here is going to be your ACC2 line. These two wires are going to plug right into negative and positive of the ACC2. That leaves you with a negative and positive for ACC2 for other accessories. And then these two ports here are for both the controller and the Aurora lights DRLs. We'll plug into these two connections. Over here we've got the ACC1 connection, which is constant power. Again, we're not robbing you of your ACC1 ports. You'll plug these two connections into the bike, and that leaves you an ACC1 power connection. This here is going to plug into the stock switch on the Norden. If you're working on a 790, 890, or other bike, that may go to a toggle switch, and that's how we're going to go between auxiliary light mode and DRL mode. The wires up here, we've got them split left or right. It really doesn't matter which one it is. You just want to keep them the same. So in this case, we've got the right. This wire here is going to plug into your the main auxiliary lights on the Auroras. These are going to be your DRL positive and ground wires. And then this is the wire that's going to plug into our right side blinker. Again, it doesn't matter if it's left or right, just keep all these the same and together. You want to make sure that you're running the blue wire that's going to tap in your power wire of your blinkers on the same side of the light that you're actually running. So right side, left side. This wire here is going to go to the high beam power wire. On KTMs, that's going to be blue. So just right behind the headlight, find your blue wire. Use the Positap provided and tap into that wire. All right, so ACC2, ACC1, stock switch or toggle switch if it's a bike other than a Norden. Right side lights, left side lights. That's all there is to it. Here we are at the front of the bike. We've got our right side Aurora lights, headlight plug. Right side Aurora lights, left side Aurora lights. Excuse me, that's looking at the bike. That'd be right. This would be left. Okay, looking inside the headlight, here we've got the ACC1 wires. There's a little tag on them that tells me that. It's back there. I'm not seeing the ACC2. Well, that's because the ACC2 wires are up here, and you're going to have to remove this front little plate. This one's got a support for some kind of GPS. So to get to it, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that guy. And got a bolt on each side. Pop that guy off. And now my ACC2 wires are right down in there and they've got a little zip tie. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Don't cut your wires. And I'm going to then run that back down into the headlight. Now because I've got that adapter, I'll be able to get that back up there where you'll be able to access it for your GPS. All right, here we've got our controller. We've got some 3M dual lock on the back. We're going to want to stick that in the back of the headlight. There's a nice spot back here that's nice and flat. I'd recommend getting some acetone, alcohol, something, and just clean that. Get all the manufacturing oils off of it. Dual lock sticks. I don't have any. Put that up a little bit. Well, while I'm waiting for that. Okay, I've got, these are labeled ACC2 and ACC1. So I'm also going to find the switch wire, which is right here. Go ahead and unplug that guy. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in to the switch. You won't be plugging anything back into that other wire. Just kind of tuck that back. There, it looks like my stuff is dry enough now, so I'll go ahead and snake this back there. Give it a nice good push to make that stick. All right, so there's my controller placed in the back of the headlight bucket. Again, make sure that when you're doing this, that you're keeping all your light leads separated. So there's my right side, here's my left side. I don't want to mix those up. All right, then I'm going to find my ACC1 leads. That's ACC2. ACC1 leads right here. And I'm going to plug those into this bottom connection here. So you've got two different colors. One is, looks like it's yellow with a red stripe. That's going to be the positive. Go ahead and hook the red wires up to that. Make sure you shove those all the way down in there. And then the black is going to go to the brown. KTM is always brown for the grounds, other than the some will be a little backwards. All right, so there we go. I've got that all set up. Now I've got my ACC1 wires connected, and then I've still got a free ACC1 connector right here that I could plug in some other type of accessory I wanted constant power. Maybe a cigarette port for a air pump or something like that. All right, now I'm going to come up to my ACC2 wires, which were stuck up in the top of the tower here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Here, your power wire is a red with a black stripe. Hook the red wire in there. Again, make sure you have it all connected down inside that sheath. Do the same with the ground, which is going to be black to brown, just like ACC1. And then I've still got those ports left in case for my GPS or phone charger, any other thing like that. Okay, so now we're going to get into actually plugging in the lights. So here, while I've got my ACC2, I want my DRL wires for the front DRL.
Wait for the beeps.
Okay, I'm actually done with those ACC2 and ACC1 wires. I'll tuck those up out of the way in a minute. For now, I'll just tuck them out where you really can't see them. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my main auxiliary light wires. The Deutsch connector is simply going to plug into the Deutsch connector. Then I'm going to take the bullet connectors going to the DRLs on the Aurora lights, and I'm going to plug those in. You've got on this side, I've got a purple with a white stripe. That's going to go to the red. And I've got a black wire that is going to go on into the black wire. That side light has been connected. The only thing I have left to do here is this is my blinker lead. So I'm going to go ahead and feed this back out and to the blinkers where I can see it. And come through the big hole here where you can actually see what you're doing with the blinker. All right, peel that back. On this side, I'm going to want to go take a look at here because this is where the KTM will switch its colors. So on this side of the connector, I've got a purple, I've got a purple and a brown wire. on this side, I've got a black and a brown wire. So purple is going to be my positive. I'm going to put this tap on the blinker side. And it's nice and easy to do. I'm going to unscrew this posi-tap connector. You see it's got a little slot. That's going to simply go over your wire. And then the posi-tap side's got a little point on it. And as I screw this back in, it's going to go and poke a little hole in that wire and make a connection. It's a great way to tie it for the average guy to tie into wires. Actually, a little bit better than a solder joint, which normally wouldn't be used in a mobile application. Well, guys, there's a lot of stuff about that, but generally you're not going to find solder joints on airplanes, ambulances, anything like that. So there you go. There's my connection to my blinker. This side, as far as the light goes, is 100% tied in and ready to go. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to find my, let's say, right side leads. I'm going to plug the main connector in. I'm going to take my halo wires. I'm going to go red into purple. And I'm going to go black into the black. Then I'm going to pop this wire. Okay, clean this up a little bit. I'm going to pop this blue wire. Actually, I'm going to bring this one in a little bit since it's going to be a little easier for me to work over here. So I undid that. Again, I'm going to double check which side the brown is always going to be your ground on the bike side. So it looks like on this bike, brown is also on the corresponding side. So I'm going to go into the black wire over here. You want to test all this after you get it on, just to make sure that you've got the connections right. Give yourself a little space so you're not crowding right into the connector, just in case you have a problem. I like to turn these back the other way, so I'm not ending up with a wire that is all spooled together. There you go, that's all tightened up, that's ready to go. The last connection I need to make here is the headlight high beam wire. So I'm going to go and look for that connection on the bike. That's the wire I'm after, that blue wire. It is awfully tight there, so I'm going to pull back some of this sheathing just a little bit. Give me a little more room to work. Again, make sure you don't cut any wires. You'll be sorry. All right, I just freed that up. I'm going to fish that blue wire out. Again, I'm going to take the posi-tap, unscrew the black piece, place it over my wire. I'm going to push it back away from the connector. And then I'm going to screw the high beam trigger wire back into that black connector. That's all there is to it. All right, now I'm going to take and tuck all this goodness back up where it goes. I'm going to want to put my leads for the GPS facing up so that they can be on ACC2, so that they can be easily used. I'm going to go ahead and pop them through the top. If I was putting a GPS on, now would be the perfect time to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and re-zip tie that just like the factory had it. All right, you can now, you still got your ports, original ports for your ACC2, and you can just tuck that stuff all right back down there. Might be a good idea to make sure that nothing here is touching. Like I can see that maybe a piece of tape over this red wire wouldn't be a bad idea if you're not plugging anything into it. All right, I'm going to want to now try to manipulate these wires so they all fit in there nicely. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and secure my wires back at the light and get as much out of the harness, as much out of the headlight as I can. Rather have it over here than inside the headlight bucket. You guys will do you wonders here. Go ahead and pull some of that back out. Double up the wires. The panels will come down and fit back tightly over here, so you don't want to pull too much, but you can pull a nice little section out of there, and just go ahead and run a zip tie around it. On this side, you've got the rectifier regulator. You want to stay away from that, so I'm just going to zip tie. Now that little bundle I just made, I'm going to zip tie it right to this piece of plastic housing right here. Actually could have done that all with one zip tie if I would have been thinking. All right, I'll cut those off later before I put the panels on. Now I'm ready to go ahead and tuck my blinker assembly back in there. Get that all done. I'll go ahead and do the other side. Pull those wires out. And now I'm going to look and see if there's anything I can do to make this a little nicer inside here, and there certainly is. I'll just run a zip tie around this bundle just to keep them nice and tidy. There's a nice spot here where your factory high beam switch or factory high beam plug is going to go back over. So try to make sure you don't obstruct that with the wires that you're running. I'm going to go ahead and plug the factory headlight in so that I can do a test. If I don't do that, I will get all kinds of codes and weird things. And at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and place that connector back on the little tab that they've provided. We'll figure out how it came on there. All right, Daryl here with Cyclops. We're going to do a quick overview of our new Norden 901 kit. Here with the Aurora DRLs and the new Skene controllers. So we're going to go ahead and turn the bike on, and we've got the fog lights, or the halo rings running in conspicuousy mode. That's that quick little flash to draw driver's attention to your bike. Now we can turn that on or off. Go ahead, Brian, turn that off. There, now we've got just the halos running in just normal mode, where the idea is that's going to be running around during the daytime. Now when we go ahead and go to aux light mode, that's going to turn the halos off, and now we are in low beam. Hit the factory switch, we're back in high beam, back to low beam. Okay, they normally wouldn't flash for you, that's just thrown through the camera. High beam. All right, Brian, go ahead and hit a blinker. Notice the auxiliary light is dropping out when you hit the blinker, so people aren't being blinded and they can actually see your blinkers. That's a quick rundown of the Norden 901 kit using adjustable mounts and completely plug and play.